Yeah, pretty much. She has to have magical pockets that just go into nowhere. She cocked an eyebrow at me and flipped the small book open. When she looked back up at me, it was with both suspicion and surprise. Yes, in her chest.
Yeah, it is Latin. But translating this is impossible. It's full of words I've never heard before. I can barely understand any of this.
Page 216.
Huh?
She does have a hole there now, yes. But I don't think the hole's really big enough for this book. And the book would be a bit bloody if it did come from that hole. That would be a good mini game. I have no idea how many times I've already heard it though. So it's a bit late to start that one. Turn to page 216. You should be able to read that one. Fi's frown deepened, but she did as I'd suggested. I watched her eyes quickly scan the page, before looking up at me with renewed suspicion.
Yeah, I can read this page. How did you know? No, wait. How did you even know there was a journal in the lab?
Because of another timeline. I just knew.
You just knew. Come on.
You've used that line on me a few times. You just knew my name. It still hasn't extended the line yet. Look, just read it, okay? Clover wants to hear what it has to say, right?
Yeah. Right. Give me a moment to look it over.
After a few moments of whispering to herself in Latin, Fi began to translate, paraphrasing the contents of the journal. Radical 6 reduces the processing speed of the brain by a factor of the root of 1/6. One of the symptoms of Radical 6 infection is an overwhelming urge to commit suicide. Research has shown that it would probably respond to the right sort of antiviral medication, but no one has been able to develop one yet. Nearby towns are filled with the corpses of people who took their own lives. The uninfected have only barely managed to survive and have been sent into underground shelters supervised by the government.
Oh Lord, please. Let their future be a bright one.
Fi shut the journal with a soft slap. A sickly silence drifted through the room. The newspaper article, the recording, the conversation with Temuji, and now this journal entry. There was no more hiding from the truth. The pandemic had already happened. All of Clover's rage suddenly dissipated and she collapsed to the floor, tears pouring down her face. None of us had the heart to say anything, and for several long moments the only sound in the room was Clover's sobs.
We've got a problem.
That felt like it was going to go to an end.
It's almost time for the primary doors to open.
10 minutes. Yeah, only 10 minutes left.
Sorry, but I'll be taking Alice's bracelet. Fi and I won't be able to open the secondary door without it.
So she was a magenta pear, just like me.
Just now noticed that, did ya?
As he spoke, Dio grabbed the bracelet off the floor and dropped it into his pocket.
What color is your bracelet, Luna?
I'm a cyan pear.
You are part of Clover's pair, then. That means the two of you will need to come with me.
I guess so. Come on now, Clover. We need to go. Alice would want you to survive, wouldn't she?
Yep.
You'll never be able to figure out why all this happened if you stay here. Please. You're right. Alice, I promise I'll find out what happened to you. I'll figure out who Zero really is. I mean, if you'd never been locked up in here, you never would have... This never would have happened.
Yeah. Yep, that does sound like Dio. Right down to the last bit. Gotta do what you gotta do. Exactly.
So it's like Zero killed you.
Well, considering we know that it's been over a year, well, 10 years since you got kidnapped. He may have saved you, may have extended your life. Because you were kidnapped before the virus. It broke out days after you were kidnapped. Like a week after you were kidnapped. Who's to say you wouldn't have caught it years earlier if you didn't get put in here? So he may have extended your life.
I promise. I'll avenge you.
Yep. And she did in the other ending, didn't she? Clover stood up and rubbed her hands roughly over her eyes, smearing tears across her cheeks. Then, with a determined frown, she strode out of the room.
Alright, we're out of time.
At least Clover's not so broken that she's not thinking rationally.
Move, people.
You guys head on down to the Floor B warehouse. We'll catch up with you later.
Oh, right. Quark's got the yellow bracelet, which makes him your partner, right?
Yeah. Can't exactly leave him behind.
Without him, we'd end up stuck in the AB room.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's go. We'll see the rest of you once we've picked up Quark.
Very well. Until we meet again.
Kay would be glad, Temiyuji would be glad that Quark's coming with us.
Quark,
He's awake.
you're awake!
Yeah, I just woke up. Hey, where's everybody else?
Oh god. Quark.
Temiyuji's entire body shook with emotion as he drew closer to him. He cautiously laid a trembling hand on the boy's shoulder, almost as if he were afraid Quark would disappear in a puff of smoke the moment he was touched. When Quark proved to indeed be corporeal, Temiyuji let out a cry and threw his arms around him.
What's wrong? Are you okay, Grandpa?
It's nothing. Nothing's wrong. I'm fine.
But
Quark gave him a puzzled look. Temiyuji didn't even notice. His face was a mixture of happiness and relief, and I could see tears twinkling from the wrinkled corners of his eyes. Twinkling? That looks like a river. The amount of tears there. Don't blame him though. All traces of his usual gruff stoicism had vanished. I didn't want to interrupt such a happy reunion, but we were running out of time. Still, Tamayuji deserved a few minutes. I left them alone. At last, Tamayuji seemed to recover and shifted from an embrace to a protective arm around the shoulder.
So, how are you feeling?
Feeling? Well, okay, I guess. Was I sick or something?
No. You're not sick.
Doesn't look like he's sick anymore, so it looks like you can get over the virus too.
If you feel fine, then you're fine.
Huh?
Yeah,
I should never have gotten you involved in all this.
I agree with Tenmyuji there. It looks like if the virus fails to get you to commit suicide and enough time passes, your body can fight it off and you recover.
What are you apologizing for?
Sorry.
You're doing it again. Are you sure you're okay? So, where's everybody else? Mr. Sigma's here, but he's just been standing there looking kinda silly.
I gave him a nervous smile and explained about the white doors. I got the feeling Tamayuji didn't want Quark to know about Radical 6, so I avoided any mention of it. Alice's death was something I also left for later.
Okay, that makes sense. That means I'm on a team with you guys, right?
Right.
So, these white doors, when are they gonna open?
4 minutes. Well, we've got about 4 minutes until the primary doors open.
Oh, that's not good. We need to hurry, come on! How do we get to the floor B warehouse?
Okay, we're going.
Follow me.
Chromatic doors have opened. 5 minutes remain until chromatic doors close.
So we've made it here to see the doors open at least.
You're late. Where the hell have you been? Quark?
You're awake! And fully recovered, apparently.
I am also relieved to see you well again.
Me too.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
I looked out at the others from behind Quark and held a warning finger up to my lips. There were a few momentarily raised eyebrows and some nervous coughing as everyone suddenly fell silent.
Huh?
From Quark's perspective, it must have seemed especially odd.
Anyway, there isn't any time left.
You could just simply say you weren't feeling well, so you were asleep.
We need to
You
hurry.
took a rest.
But there are 3 doors.
Which team goes in which door?
All of the doors are identical for this round. I believe it doesn't matter which team uses which door.
Then we're taking the one in the middle.
Why that one?
You want a kill shot, you aim for the center. You're more likely to just miss the extremities.
That logic is flawed and more than slightly disturbing.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I don't really have a counter-argument, so center door it is.
I suppose we could go with the one on the left. Is that okay? I mean, we could go with the other one if you want.
Kay and Clover only nodded. Well,
There's only one left.
I thought that was my line for a second there.
The door on the right.
Any objections? All right, let's move.
30 seconds remain until chromatic doors close.
Hurry it up, Fi. This thing's gonna close.
I know.
It's time we were going as well.
Right. Sure.
Come on, guys. There's no time to waste.
Right behind you.
Let's go.
2, 1, 0. Chromatic doors closing.
Oh. Ah, this room. But a balloon? What's this place?
Probably the office of whoever it is that's running this place.
It said director's office on the door.
So this might be Zero Senior's office.
Maybe. Or maybe not.
Well, which is it?
Why the hell would I know?
We should look around. If this really is Zero Senior's room, there might be some clues.
It still hasn't extended. See, I've been in this one for a while too. Yeah, you got a point. Let's get started then. Let's have a quick look around. What's this? I checked it out earlier, but I think it's just a business card holder. A business card holder? Yeah, it's a file where you put business cards. They've all got these weird shapes on the back. I think maybe if you line them up in a particular way, then you'll get some sort of hint. Place business cards in the correct order. By clicking one business card and then another, you can swap their positions. Well, I guess we can give it a shot. Maybe alphabetical order? Ah, I can't click them here. Okay. I can't rotate them, can I? Yeah, I'm thinking similar, but that one I'm thinking goes under that one. There's no card with that at the bottom. Which means... well, I don't know, because there's four cards with that at the top, and there's only 3 across. First of all, I'm thinking that. Why didn't that move? Ah, that way. Yep. No. That one I think might match because the side is even. I can't see that one connecting to any. Was it that one? Yep. Those two I think match. I can't, that one at the top it looks like K, but I can't see any bottom with a K. No. That I reckon is the right shape. Nope, that's wrong ones. That's a 4, 3, 3, 8, 00. That one I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've got written. I suppose that could be K. But if it was right, it would have accepted it already. So I'm thinking all the pairs are right, but they're in the wrong spots. Let's hope if I go back, they don't reset the order. I don't get it. Maybe you don't have enough information. Maybe. That explains it. Not enough information. Man, this safe is really big. There's gotta be like $100 billion in there. Heh, you're such a kid. Maybe they're just hiding something they really don't want people to see. Like some videos. I'm not sure I like the way you said that. Let's just open it up and find out. I don't think... See? Is it locked? Yeah. There's a circular input panel on top of the handle. It looks like the one on the pressure exchange chamber's door. So if we just do the same thing we did then, yep, it is the same puzzle as back then. Alright, let's do it. But which colours match to which ones? I haven't seen that yet. I don't get it. How do I know which colours to connect? If you don't know that, you're probably missing some information. Hey, what's up? What about that globe? Globe? I don't see what you're looking at about the globe there, Quark. That's Australia though. Where I am. Hey, a globe. Doesn't it look kinda weird? I think somebody glued a piece of paper to it. Let's see if we can get it off then. A file. Okay. World map. Ah. There we go. We can get back to that. First is white to light blue. Yellow to purple. Green to pink. I think I've ruined it. Yep, green needs to get there. Huh. This is going to be a hard one. How can those connect, but also have that cross? Actually, I see. Got it. Good job. You did it. Nice work. Very impressive. Let's have a look inside. $100 billion. Videos. I don't know which videos Tenryuji's thinking of. And I like Quark's optimism. Yeah. Huh. Sorry guys. Looks like all we've got is a binder and a deer. So a bind deer? What the hell is this? Is Zero just making fun of us? Alright, so there's a binder in the safe. It's got 2 pieces of paper in it. The deer's looking at me, Grandpa. Back up. It's just a fake. We've got everything out of there now, though. Yeah, disappointment. $100 billion worth of fake deer head. Makes sense. Anyway, I hate to do it in the middle of an escape room, but I'm gonna have to call it a stream. We will leave and exit the game.